I wanted to get to a bigger point. Because the time comes, somewhat pun intended, for us to take the gloves off when it comes to Jake Paul.
After I beat Mike Tyson, the amount of people saying this is rigged was crazy.
And I can break his mentality, then I've broken Jake. So this is why it's going to be an interesting fight, because I just don't look at it from a physical standpoint.
Stephen A. Smith reportedly reacted with disbelief after Mike Tyson and Anthony Joshua accused Jake Paul of attempted bribes. Smith said the sport has reached a breaking point, arguing that boxing needs to put an end to these kinds of spectacles. According to him, Paul should have the gloves taken away because he turns fights into scripted business arrangements. Smith believes this behavior disrespects real fighters and seriously harms boxing's credibility on a global level.
Kind of things that I'm talking about here. Boxing's a skill. Let me give y'all an example. Remember Francis Ngannou? Remember that monster? That Nigerian nightmare? Remember him? And then we saw him show up and show a little skill against Tyson Fury, who came there out of shape. What happened when he got into the ring with Anthony Joshua? He got put to sleep, much in the same way Nate Robinson got put to sleep. Boxing is a skill.
Anthony Joshua has already made his position clear. When asked whether he would take it easy on Jake Paul or follow any special conditions, AJ rejected the idea outright. He stated that he only fights for real, with no agreements or shortcuts. As a world champion, Joshua made it clear that he will not risk his legacy on gimmick bouts or scripted outcomes, and that he will never compromise the integrity of the sport for entertainment or money.
See, with Jake, what I learned about Jake is, so when you look at the physicality stuff, and as you said, he's looking at my chest, I think Jake is someone where I got to beat him mentally because he's a mental person. This is my observation. A lot of what Jake's preparation is based around is not only the physical aspects of training, but the way he thinks, meditation, breath work. And if I can break his soul and I can break his mentality, then I've broken Jake. So this is why it's going to be an interesting fight, because I just don't look at it from a physical standpoint. I know the person that's in front of me, and I know that I got to break it. That's what I said, I got to take his soul. It's not just physical, I got to take your soul in the ring.
Only person that can do that is God.
I knew he was going to say that.
Is he f***ing with your brain?
No, I don't know. That's what I was going to ask, is how do you plan on doing that? Like, when is it going to start? I mean, obviously in the fights it's different, you know? But, I mean, when are you going to start taking it?
I've just seen in fights when I can see someone's, let's call it energy, frequency leaving their body. And that's what my goal is to do the same to you. You have that instinct. You can see it. When you're fighting, you can just see a small glimmer of someone that's just about to start fading. And then you just keep exploiting that, keep exploiting that until some people give up, some people get knocked out. We'll figure out. But as I said, for me, it's not just going in there and being dominating physically. I want to break him down spiritually and mentally.
That's some deep boxing.
Mike Tyson reportedly suggested that Jake Paul try to script parts of the fight. Tyson explained that money was never a motivation for him, as he is already financially secure and the bout wouldn't have changed his lifestyle. He said he agreed to step into the ring one last time for personal reasons alone. According to reports, Tyson didn't fight for profit and pushed back against any attempt to control the outcome.
Walk away from?
This fight is not going to change my lifestyle financially. I'm a fighter. I feel good. I can do it. I feel I can beat this guy.
Come on. Well, we're going to be in the building. I'm going to be there. Speaking of the exhibition with Roy, like when that exhibition happened, man, I felt like it was two of my uncles.
Joe Rogan talks about a pattern he believes exists in Jake Paul's boxing career. According to Rogan, Jake often selects opponents who may be physically larger but are safer matchups in other strategic ways. He suggests these choices aren't random. Rogan argues that these fighters bring huge attention and name recognition, which benefits Jake regardless of the actual sporting result. Using Mike Tyson as an example, Rogan explains that legends draw massive audiences simply by entering the ring. This creates a situation where entertainment value outweighs real competition. Rogan hints that outcomes can appear slanted in Jake's favor, leaving fans questioning whether these fights are true contests or carefully controlled spectacles designed to maximize profit and exposure.
Different thing with that guy.
Well, it's like Matt always says, play to your strengths.
Yeah,
no
but
doubt.
you know, you got to take that payday. I mean, what did he make out of that fight? He probably made $10 million or something.
Yeah.
And Jake Paul's very smart, man. Like he gets guys that he's bigger,
Bigger
than.
than,
The
younger
only time
than.
he fought another boxer his size was
He
Tom
lost.
Fury, and he lost. Tom Fury?
Good fight.
Tommy Fury.
Very
Tommy
good
Fury.
fight. Very good fight. You know, I think he's like any other young up-and-coming boxer. It's just everybody dismisses him because he's a YouTuber.
For sure. It's easy to dismiss him, but I was there when he knocked out Tyron, and I was like, man, I'm done with this kid. I never wanted to corner another fight in my life, man. I was like, yo, he just knocked my boy flat out on his face, man.
Jake Paul has responded to the accusations by rejecting them completely. He says people are making up stories because they resent his success. According to Jake, claims that fights are scripted are simply excuses used by critics who refuse to acknowledge his growth as a boxer. He points out that boxing commissions regulate these events and would never permit illegal manipulation. Jake maintains that every opponent enters the ring by choice and that he trains hard to earn his wins. He believes the ongoing accusations only prove that he has shaken up the boxing world and forced traditional fans to face a new reality they don't want to accept.
I beat Mike Tyson. The amount of people saying this is rigged was crazy. They like showed this clip of Mike Tyson going to swing at me with a left hook, and he like stopped doing it, but saw I had my right hand up. So he would have like swung like this, I catch it and shoot. He's leaning forward like I could have knocked him out. So that's why he stopped throwing it. And it's like they play this one clip and it has literally 50 million views on TikTok, but the average...
The Jake Paul versus AJ fight revealed a clear and dangerous mismatch from the very start. Former UFC champion Michael Bisping reacted strongly, saying Jake Paul was nowhere near the level needed to face an elite heavyweight like Anthony Joshua. He described the bout as a lesson in real professional boxing, where timing, skill, and experience determine everything. Joshua's punches were precise and powerful, exposing the gap in class. Bisping emphasized that the outcome was unavoidable because Paul didn't have the tools, defense, or ring awareness required to survive against a world-class boxer at that level.
No, that wasn't the case at all. What we saw, in my humble opinion, because I'm a big Anthony Joshua fan. Of course, I've been a supporter for the longest time. A rather lackluster, unmotivated Anthony Joshua that didn't look like he was being particularly nasty, right? A lot of the time he was out of range, and okay, it is hard to land a shot on someone that's backing up and moving away the whole time. And there was a lot of times where he had him in the corner and he could have thrown a shot. And sometimes he was telegraphing his shots. And anytime he did go in to throw a punch, as I said before, Jake Paul would shoot in and turn it into a wrestling match. And even when he wasn't shooting in, he was clinching a lot. This is boxing, it's not MMA as we know. The referee should have done a much better job of getting in there and separating them much, much faster. As I say, it was the 6th round. I think it was the 4th round he got dropped twice. In the 5th round he got through it. In the 6th round, caught him with the jab, and a glancing right hook. He goes down, and that was that. That was all she wrote, right? I did a live. There was about 9,000 people watching at one point. Nobody was particularly enjoying the matchup. Listen, okay? I respect both men. I respect anyone really that steps into the ring, okay? And certainly going up against Anthony Joshua, that was a tall task, okay? You know, metaphorically and figuratively, right? It was a tall task. It was a big job. It was a tough opponent. It was a mismatch, and it was, right? Jake Paul never worried Anthony Joshua once. He never rung his bell. He never caused any damage. He never had him worried. He never did anything. It wasn't a fight. It was a display of how long can Jake Paul last? Can he run away long enough to...
Critics argue that influencer boxing has altered the foundation of the sport. As YouTubers and celebrities entered the ring, the focus shifted away from technique and legacy toward views and revenue. Many believe matchups are now driven by hype instead of skill. The art of boxing, once rooted in discipline and mastery, is seen as taking a back seat to marketing strategies. These events generate huge income through sponsorships and streaming deals, fueling accusations that results matter less than financial returns. For traditional fans, influencer boxing feels less like real competition and more like staged entertainment, with influencers simply wearing boxing gloves.
A couple of shocking results. I think that Jake Paul undercards and the promotional arm of his brand, I think, is the most fun part of what Jake Paul brings to boxing. Honestly, I think long term, I think that's what we can all hope for. Because Jake's fights are, this one was borderline atrocious, and kind of the writing was on the wall. But I gotta admit, even I bought drank the Kool-Aid, and mainly I drank the Kool-Aid because Chavez Sr., who also is disgraceful for doing this, made me believe, and I think, this has been the problem with Chavez Jr. He's been enabled constantly by the media, the promoters, his family, all this other stuff. So he never really shows up prepared. He never cares and just shows up to get paid and basically steals the bag every single time. And he did it tonight again. The reason I actually thought this fight had a chance was because Chavez Sr. Guaranteed us that his son was motivated and was having a training camp. So as much of a Hall of Fame career as a father had, he's the con artist, I guess, must run in the family, because Junior's been a con artist his whole career, but at least he's been enabled through it, But now the father doing this, I mean, you knew already your son wasn't going to be ready. You put your own reputation on the line and sold us this crap. And then ultimately your son throws what most guys will throw in a round. He throws it through 10 rounds. It was actually kind of...
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned. Till next time.